Hello guys, welcome back on Unreal Dystopia, and today we are going to see how to cast a fireball on our RPG game. Okay guys, let's get started. So the first thing to do is to create our fireball. We are going to create a specific folder for this. Right click, blueprint class, and click on actor. You will create, you will have a new actor that you will name projectile. I have named it projectile because I am going to use this blueprint for each throwable item or throwable weapon. Okay guys, arrows or fireball or so on. Okay guys, okay, so open your actor and here you will set your fireball. So what do we got here? You can see here I have a static mesh, okay, which is the component that will collide with the target. So if I move away the effect, you can see it's just a sphere, okay, it's static mesh sphere. Just make sure to have the simple collision and the complex collision set. In my case, I'm using only the simple collision, and of course here it must block all. Okay guys, this is important. So after that you can add the effect. In my case I have added a cascada system, a particle system component. You can add here whatever you want: Niagara particle system, cascada particle system, or just an emitter. Okay guys, so it's up to you. In my case I have this fireball cascada emitter. I will place it right in the middle of my sphere, okay, of my static mesh. After that I will add a projectile movement component. This is the component that will handle the movement of our projectile or our fireball. So here my settings are: the initial speed is 500, the max speed 0, and initial velocity in local space is set to true, and the projectile gravity scale is set to 0. So it's up to you to put your own settings, guys. For example, if you want a faster fireball, you can just increase the initial speed. That's it. So also we need to add a radial force component. Just type radial force, okay, and you add this component. Here you will set it also as you want. For example, the radius of the effect in my case is 200, and the impulse strength is 1000. And don't forget to check on the impulse velocity change. Okay, this is important in order to work. Okay, great. So also on the static mesh, guys, make sure to set the collision block all with collision enabled. Okay, guys, and generate a hit event and overlap event. This is not necessary, but just in case you want an overlap event. Also, guys, on the construction script. The construction script, of course, is the event happening just before the spawning of the actor or the object. So here you can see that I am setting the collision of the static mesh to no collision. Why? This is to avoid colliding with our character. Okay, this moment I need to avoid the fireball colliding with my own character. This is why I am setting it to no collision, and you can see here in the event graph, just after the begin play with a delay or of 0.2 second, I will set the collision enabled again with my static mesh. So you can do this by set collision enabled like this, and you set no collision or collision enabled. Okay, guys, this is important to avoid colliding with your character. And here, the following script on my construction script is just the setting of my projectile. For example, if I want a magic ball or a fireball, I will set the static mesh to this sphere. But if I want it to be an arrow, for example, I will set the static mesh to an arrow like this. Okay, guys, as I said, I will use this actor to set all the throwable items. So you can't forget about that for now. Okay, we are focusing on the fireball. So here on your static mesh, directly set it as a sphere. Okay, let's carry on. So in the event graph, for now, we just set this configuration on the event begin play. Now we need to select our static mesh and go all the way down here, and on component hit you click the plus button, you will have this event. So after from the output of this event, you need to drag your radial force and here search for fire impulse. Here you will fire the impulse of your fireball when colliding. For example, for me, you can see that when my fireball collide with that cubes, it will trigger a force that will project all the cubes away. Okay. After that, I will check if the hated actor can be damaged or not. Remember, in the previous video, we have created a damage system with the combo attack, but the attack, the applying damage is handled by a blueprint interface. So, in order to create one, you right click, go to blueprint, and select blueprint interface. You will have a file like this one. In my case, I named it damage BP interface. Okay, you do the same. Here, you can go to your function. In the beginning, you will have just a function named function. Name it damage interface, and you will add an input, an integer named damage. Okay, guys, and save it. You will save, and that's it. After that, you will go all on all your damageable enemies or NPCs or character or whatever. For example, in our case, we will use our character as a damageable actor and open it, go to class setting, go to search and search for interface. And here you can see that I already implemented my damage BP interface. In your case, you click add and search for your damage BP interface. Of course, you will find it if you have not implemented yet. And that's it. So now our projectile, after launching, firing the impulse, it will check if the other actors that is hitting does implement interface. Okay, you search for this node, and here again you select your damage BP interface like this. Okay, this is mine. So from the return value, you will search for a branch. Okay, you will add the branch. If it is true, okay, you drag again from the other actor and search for damage interface. This one, guys, with the message. Okay, this is this function. Okay, you are calling this function, and the damage is the damage point of the fireball. So it's up to you to set it as you want. In my case, I put it 150, but it is optional. Okay, so if it is true, we will call the damage interface an interface function on the other actor. Okay, guys. After that, we will just destroy our fireball. Also, from the false, if it is not implementing this damage BP interface, you will also destroy your fireball. That's all for the fireball projectile. So now we need to go to the damageable actors or characters. So in our case, we are using our own character as damageable character. You can see that we already added a damage BP interface. We already implemented our damage BP interface. So now, if you have followed the previous video, we already created this configuration or this script in order to implement damage effect on our character. So I invite you to see our previous video. But if you if you are too lazy to do this, you can see that I am calling the function of the blueprint interface named, of course, damage interface. So just type damage interface, and here you need to search for the event damage interface. Okay, this is the event, not the function. Okay, that you used on your projectile uh, blueprint. So this is a difference to be aware of. You hit compile. After that, you have your life variable of your character or your enemy. If it is true, it will play a hit animation, okay, because it still has some life point. But okay, oh, sorry, it will play an animation, and of course set the life minus the damage point of your fireball. But if the life is under 0 or equal to 0, it will just play a dead animation like that. I hope it's simple. I think it's a pretty simple tutorial today, guys. but it is beautiful and useful for an RPG game. So here you can see also you can see that I am having different movement locomotion for the magic option. So I will explain. You can see here when I am moving, you can see that I have particular moving style or animation. For example, if I take my weapon, you can see the animation that I am using. But if I want to fire a fireball, I need to range my weapon and take this position. So you can do this by creating a small logic here. For example, in my case, I need to click on the M button. Okay, you can do this like this keyboard. You search for the M button here, this one, and after that, you create flip flop to go from melee weapon to magic weapon or fireball. So search for flip flop like this. So one time it will search if my character has a weapon or not. If it has a weapon, you can see our previous video to understand this variable, guys. It is a series, so make sure to see all the videos. So if it is handling or it hold a weapon in its hand, it will an arm range the weapon like this. Okay, after that, I have a variable named magic. You can add it here. Click the plus button, boolean, and name it magic, and you will set it to true. Okay. Once it range its weapon, and after that, you need to go to your onion blueprint. In our case, this is our onion blueprint. Okay, and on your locomotion state machine. Uh, an onion blueprint work like that, guys. Okay, you should have this for in our case. Remember, we have created a swimming locomotion, a swimming animation, and locomotion animation. So here you can see that I have two blend space, one for the magic or the fireball, and the other for the melee or the melee weapons attack or moving. Okay, guys, so just create two blend space and go to your onion blueprint and create blend pose by bool node like this, and of course you need the magic variable boolean you created here, and you set it on or false here on your character blueprint. So to do this, you drag your mesh like this, you get anim instance. From the anim instance, you cast to your anim bp to, in my case its name is abp money, of course. And when you create your magic variable, boolean variable, you you set your magic boolean variable like this to true. Okay, so this is how to go from magic locomotion blend space to melee locomotion blend space, and contrary. Okay, guys, so this is for the A, and for the B, you are just going to set the magic variables to false. Okay, the same thing. This is when you are handling a weapon, but if you are not handling a weapon, you are just going to set the magic variable of the character blueprint and the onion blueprint to true without the range weapon animation that we had here. Okay, guys, so the last step now, we are going to fire our fireball or launching our fireball. So to do this, I have chosen the mouse button, okay, like this. But you can choose whatever key you want, keyboard key you want. After that, if I am in magic mode, not in a melee mode, okay, in case you are using the same button for melee attack and distance attack. So if I am in a magic mode, if it is true, I will do, I will make a do once node like this. And after that, I will play an anim montage, okay? Here, I will link my mesh in skeletal mesh component. And here, of course, I am going to play launching animation that I have already set here or already created. So you can see that I have an anim notify here. Right click on the one section, add notify, and use montage notify. Okay, why? And you can see that it is triggered at this exact moment when your character has its hand forward. Okay, this is because we need to trigger this on notify begin. Okay, remember that this event is triggered here. Okay, after that, when on the output of on notify begin, we need to spawn our fireball by using the spawn actor from class node. Okay, here you search for your projectile blueprint like this. The spawn transform, you will split the structure. Okay, the spawn transform location, it will be, of course, the hands of your character. So you can just drag your mesh like this, and you will get bone location or get socket location, and here you will name the bone of the hands of your character. But I recommend to use or to create a socket. So you go to your character skeleton here and search for your right hand or left hand, doesn't matter, because the animation join the two hands. Okay, so search for example, let's say the left hand, and here you will right click and add a socket and name it. You can see that this is the socket. Name it, for example, fire ball, like this. Okay, and you will copy this name and go back to your character blueprint and put it here. Okay, make sure to have this exact same name and link the spawn transform location here. For the spawn transform rotation, it's also very important because it will determine the direction that the fireball is taking. Okay, of course, we are going to use the control rotation, or in my case, I have used the camera rotation because it is already following the control rotation, of course. So if you want the control rotation, you can just get control rotation and you link this here and it will work. I will show you. For the collision handling, guys, make sure to select, try to adjust location, but always spawn. Okay, and for the owner and instigator, get self, reference to self, and link them here. It's important later for the score and the point and the rewards. Okay, okay, so now when I go to magic mode and I fire my fireball, you can see that it is following the control rotation of my mouse or my character. But also in my case, I am using the follow camera. This is it. I am getting get word rotation, and from here I link it here, and that's it. So for the scale, this is where you determine the scale of your fireball. For example, if you want a gigantic fireball, just set it to 10 or whatever. You can see that I am having a big fireball here, and that's it, guys. So after launching or finishing the animation from the uninterrupted or the uncompleted, you will go back to reset in order to be able to launch or fire a fireball again. Okay, guys, and that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. It's an easy tutorial, but useful for an RPG game. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, turn on the notification, and see you in the next tutorial.